Well, good morning, everyone. Good morning. And welcome to the official start of the 2020-2022 academic year, as well as the launch of our 50th anniversary celebration. Look at how far we have come since the university's inception in 1971. The founders had a vision to enhance educational opportunities in East Texas, and that vision has taken root and grown exponentially, getting better and stronger as years have gone by. UT Tyler began as a complement to community colleges to provide opportunities for a bachelor's and master's degrees along the way. We joined the renowned University of Texas system. And in 1998, we became a traditional four-year institution that continues to support and complement community colleges through our numerous collaborations and partnerships. And this year, the university started a new journey that will expand its offerings to address the educational and healthcare needs of East Texas. We have a lot to celebrate: the past, our present, and the future. We have a lot to do, and we're going to get it done. So we're going to give yourself applause again. At this time, I would like to recognize two groups that represent the heart and soul of this institution: the Faculty Senate and the Staff Senate. I would like to thank Dr. Rick Helfers, Faculty Senate President, and Sydney Brundell, Staff Senate President, for their great work leading these two campus organizations this past year. I want to also congratulate them and offer my congratulations. And going off script just a moment, they really have done a magnificent job, because in bringing the Health Science Center and UT Tyler together, they have made that task so much easier. The faculty has done a magnificent job of joining together and working towards being one faculty, one united faculty for UT Tyler. Likewise, I'm very appreciative of the staff group as they've worked together with the Health Science Center staff team to begin to unify our campuses. There are differences, very distinct differences, between the healthcare side and the comprehensive academic side. That's clear. There are some differences, but there's also a lot that unites us. And this leadership team and the leadership of the faculty and our staff have been just tremendous, and I can't express my appreciation enough. So, Dr. Helfers, podium's yours.
Thank you, Dr. Calhoun. And thank you everyone for being here today. And just to piggyback on those comments, it is truly a team effort. And speaking of a team, I'll introduce or mention the executive team for the upcoming academic year. That would be Dr. Patty Alusala and myself as past president, Dr. Sarah Sass as the president, Dr. Harrison Netton as president-elect, Dr. Mike Morrison as treasurer, Dr. Josh Banta as secretary, Dr. Kathy Ross as fact representative, and Dr. Mary Fisher as parliamentarian. And now I'll mention our faculty award winners. The award winners, if you are here, when I announce your name, if you can please stand so we can recognize you, and everyone, if you can just hold your applause until I announce all the award winners, and we'll recognize them all at one time. And for those that are here, please see me after the convocation right outside, and I'll present you with your award and your medal. Or if they are not here, if there's somebody, department chair or dean, that would like to accept that award and have that delivered to the recipient, please see me also. Now for the 2021 President's Scholarly Achievement Award, our winners are Dr. Mina Solomon. I know Dr. Solomon is not here because his wife is also set to have a baby really soon. And then also Dr. Marina Eshtakova. Marina, if you are here, please stand. The Jack and Dorothy Fay White Fellowship for Teaching Excellence is Dr. Venu Gopalakrishna Ramani. The Piper Professor Nominee and White Fellowship for Teaching Excellence is Dr. Matthew Vecchioni. And the President's Excellence in Service Award is Dr. Janita Oliveras Ortiz. Congratulations to all the winners, whether you're here or you're on Zoom right now. Now I'll introduce Dr. Sarah Sass, who will be our Faculty Senate President beginning on September 1st. Dr. Sass has a few words.
Hey, good morning. Thank you, Rick, for your leadership this past year as the president of the main campus Faculty Senate, and to Dr. Patty Alusala. I don't know if you're here, as chair of the Health Science Center Faculty Senate this past year. We really appreciate your leadership during a pandemic. And I want to share just a few things about Faculty Senate today. First, we participate in shared governance here at UT Tyler. We have representation on university committees, and we have regular meetings with the provost, the president's cabinet, which is new as of last year with the merger, and other university leaders. So we're meaningfully involved in shared governance. Second, our efforts have paid off for faculty, so we do get things done as part of a team. Examples in the past that I can cite from when I've been here the past 11 years include things like merit increases when we were not getting raises, more recently during COVID, having time off the tenure clock when you weren't maybe very productive during a pandemic. So that was obviously a team effort, but Faculty Senate was very instrumental in getting those things accomplished. Third, I do want to mention, it's been obvious to me, but and I hear this from my peers who've been leaders at the system level, but we stand out in governance at system level, and that's kind of cool. So when we talk to our peers at the Texas Council of Faculty Senates or at UT System Faculty Advisory Council, it's clear that we're involved more meaningfully, I think, than some of our peers are in governance issues. And then finally, we have collaborative relationships with the Staff Senate and with the Student Government Association. We have regular meetings with them. We collaborate around shared goals, so we're not operating as silos. We begin this next year as a merged Health Science Center and Main Campus Faculty Senate, and we expect that we're going to be stronger together than either one was on their own. But we will face challenges and new opportunities as we're continuing to navigate COVID, as we articulate a new united strategic plan, as we develop shared policies and we work towards shared goals. So we as a faculty have a seat at the table, but only if you are participating. So I'm going to put a plug in for Faculty Senate meetings. They're every third Thursday of the month. The first one is September 16th from 12:30 to 1:50. And I just invite you to reach out to me, to any of your senators. If you don't know the Faculty Senate website, I don't have it memorized, just Google UT Tyler Faculty Senate and it'll be there. Lynette's working on getting all the senators updated. And I just want to say I'm looking forward to working with you and continuing our tradition of shared governance here at UT Tyler and making UT Tyler even better than it was. So thank you, and that's it.
Hi, everybody. My name is Sydney Blundell, and I am the current USAC or To Be Staff Senate President. I want to thank you all very much for being here today. I'm going to go right into our staff awards. Our staff awards were established in 2018 and were to exemplify our staff that go above and beyond in various areas. As I announce the award winners, just like the faculty, if you will please stand and if everyone will please hold your applause until the end. And then if you are an award winner and you are here today, if you will please meet me outside and then I will make sure to give you your award. The first one that we have is the Passion Award, and that goes to Dr. Alicia Wolf from the Graduate School. I know you're excited. Please hold your applause. Thank you. The next one that we have is the President's Service Award, and that goes to Andrew Cage from the Department of Athletics. And then the final one that we have is the, I'm so sorry, that was a mistake. The President's Scholarly Achievement Award goes to Andrew Cage from the Department of Athletics. And then the President's Service Award goes to Brittany Riley from the Office of Graduate Admissions. Now you may all applause. We have wonderful staff here at UT Tyler, and I just want to thank you all for everything that you do every day. And that leads me into thanking you for a wonderful year as being able to serve as the USAC chair. It has been a very unique year. It has been a very rewarding year, and I'm so grateful for all the things that we've done and all the things that we will continue to do. This is my outgoing moment. I would like to recognize and welcome up to the podium the incoming Staff Senate President, Brista Hurst-Kent.
Thank you, Sydney. Your leadership during this last year has been incredible, and you running the helm of the unification of our Health Science Center Council and the USAC Council here at UT Tyler has been just amazing. So thank you for everything you've done. Good morning, UT Tyler community. I am so excited about the upcoming 50th anniversary year. It's an honor to be standing here in front of you as the president of our newly combined Staff Senate. I think as I stand up here about all the people who have come before me in this position, and I'm honestly amazed that I have been given an opportunity to serve in this capacity. The last year has been a whirlwind with so many changes and opportunities as we have worked to unify our representation with the Health Science Center Council. I am so grateful to have been a part of the leadership team with Sydney, Carol, and Corey as we have become a unified institution. During all my years of service, I had always watched the leaders in this position and wished that I could serve in the same capacity. But until the last 18 months, I never would have had the audacity to try. One of the most incredible things that has happened because of the COVID-19 pandemic is that we have all been given an amazing opportunity to see the humanness in each other. Without the ability to plan exactly and control every detail of how things would go, we had to see in real time exactly how our circumstances are all so very similar. And it gave us permission to make mistakes and learn while being visible. I learned for the first time that doing your best includes making mistakes. And because of that terrible, awkward visibility, I had to learn to have grace for myself, and it helped me to have an abundance of grace for other people. It has been an incredible lesson as we moved through all of these changes that have been made, to have that grace readily available to me, my team, the staff senate, and our entire UT Tyler community. And that radical acceptance of each other is what gave me the courage to accept the role of staff senate president. So what I wish for us in the upcoming year, and that's for all of us, not just staff and not just at the university, is that we can continue to take that lesson forward with us, that we are all human, that we all make mistakes, and that we are all doing the best that we can. And I want to give you all permission to see the humans in each other and to continue to make the reasonable choices that people can make when we all see ourselves in others and embrace that understanding. I know that we are going to have a great year, and I look forward to everyone's participation as we do that. Thank you so much. Thank you.
I want to thank our marketing and communications team for putting that together. That's just a wonderful video to see, and congratulations to everyone for your service to UT Tyler. It's very special. And at this point, I would like to observe a moment of silence for those in the UT Tyler family who passed in the last year. Although they are no longer with us, they will never be forgotten. So a moment of silence. Thank all of you. Now we have another video honoring our retiree emeritus. Now the university update. Earlier this year, we announced that UT Tyler and UT Health Science Center at Tyler merged to create a single integrated university that will more comprehensively serve the educational, health, and economic needs of East Texas. Bringing our two institutions together will provide students, faculty, and researchers exceptional opportunities to learn, to teach, to conduct research, and to deliver healthcare in a fully integrated academic and medical setting. Let me introduce two people who are critical, absolutely critical, to the success of our new unified UT Tyler. Dr. Amir Mimran, our provost and executive vice president for academic affairs, and Dr. Julie Philly, our executive vice president for health affairs. Please welcome them. These two individuals have been instrumental in integrating the two institutions since we began in January. We've accomplished so much since that time, and there are more exciting things to come in our future. Dr. Philly and Dr. Mimran are going to help me answer many questions, and they'll answer some of the questions for me because they have their hands on the pulse of the campus. And we will update you on the status of the unified institution. So we'll get started on that as soon as I get back to my chair.
Thank you, Dr. Calhoun. Dr. Philly and I have received a number of questions ranging from COVID to merger and the reorganizations. And so we have addressed them with different groups, from the chairs, the deans, the faculty senate, the staff senate. This is an opportunity for you to address them with everyone collectively. So the first question is that UT Tyler has had quite a year with the announcement of medical school and the newly aligned structure of the UT Tyler and the Health Science Center. How is the new unified UT Tyler different?
I would start off by saying I think we're different in how we describe ourselves. I recently had a conversation with the chairman of the Board of Regents, Chairman Eltife, and I told him that the new UT Tyler is a comprehensive public, that's important, a comprehensive public university and health sciences institution. We're both things, and implies that we are the same, but it also implies that there are some differences that exist. That's why it's an and. And I think that sums us up and describes us well. when you look at the UT system as a whole, that really is very consistent with the UT system mission. Yesterday, the Board of Regents approved the combined budgets of all the institutions and the UT system. That budget's next year is going to be somewhere north of $23 billion for the University of Texas system. Over 16 billion of that 23 is healthcare. So the University of Texas system provides more healthcare providers than any other system in the state, by far. More doctors, more nurses. I believe Barbara, I was talking with Amir this morning. We're like the third largest nursing school. We'll be number one day. But we're like the third largest nursing school in the system and growing. So healthcare is important, and it's particularly important in this institution because along with what existed in healthcare delivery infrastructure on the Health Science Center side, we're now bringing together the additional academic components of the nursing school, our health related areas, our pharmacy school. So for UT Tyler, there's a whole new dynamic with respect to healthcare education and healthcare delivery that didn't quite exist before. It was good, it was growing, it was important, the nursing schools and so forth, but it's a whole different dynamic now. And as a consequence, the university is a very different entity. In many ways, UT Tyler is 150% bigger than it was before. And that has all kinds of implications when people look at this university and what it is and how influential it is and how distinguished its faculty is. And whether we're a Carnegie R3 or a Carnegie R2, which we are now. And I think the real challenge for us going forward in the future is as we've transformed, and in the future, you'll hear me use the language transformation a little bit more. And I don't want transformation to be something that scares people. Change is a constant. I have learned that in life. Nothing stays the same. And we will be transforming to that larger, more influential, more distinguished institution as we take our steps to move from 10,000 students to 15,000 students, as we create a medical school here, as we have more graduate offerings, as we see our faculty continue to distinguish itself in a number of ways. We're bigger, we're better, we're more influential, we'll have a greater impact, we can better serve our students, we can better serve our patients, better serve our community, better serve our faculty and staff. And that's the benefit of bringing the two institutions together.
Very good. The other question that has come up is about the status of the integration of the two institutions. I think one of the benefits of bringing these two institutions together has been that we complemented each other and there has not been duplication. But folks would like to know about what is the status of the integration, and also within academic side and outside of the academic side, from the library to information technology and marketing, how are we bringing these services and resources together?
So I guess it's about 7-8 months that I've been president of the combined institutions. Regrettably, I don't have all the answers yet. I'm working on them as quickly as I can. But we are a university, and it's important that presidents get input from staff, from faculty, from our students about some of the decisions that are made. We probably are in a transformative phase where we are trying to identify those functions that would be improved through their unification? Where does that exist within HR? Where does that exist within other business operations? This was, in some ways, sort of easy merger compared to when UT Brownsville and UT Pan American were merged, because those were two comprehensive universities merging. There were two English departments. There were two math departments. There were two large student services support areas. There were two sports teams. There were two mascots. Fortunately, I believe I can say on behalf of the Health Science Center faculty, we're happy to have Swoop. We didn't have to come up with a new mascot. And we are happy, Julie will say this, we are happy to cheer for the Patriots when they hit the sports teams. We didn't have those kinds of challenges in bringing the two institutions together. I don't think, well, I know we did not have one academic program that exactly duplicated another academic program on this campus. Can we unify our opportunities in healthcare? Because now for the nursing and pharmacy school here, Julie has influence in how the hospitals operate, and we can make the hospitals move to be more supportive of education in general. Will the medical school help that? Yes, of course, all those things will happen. But at the same time, it would be a waste if we didn't identify where we can find efficiencies, the efficiencies of bringing some of our business operations together so that we can invest more in our students, in our faculty, in our future. And we'll certainly be looking for our opportunities to do that as time goes on.
Thank you. Of course, we are hoping that this is the year that we would start seeing the COVID in our rear view mirror, and we can set this aside. And at the same time, this is our 50th anniversary. This is the year of SACS with the reaffirmation of our accreditation. But this is also the year that we are going to focus on our strategic plan. So there have been questions about the new vision, the mission statements, and the strategic plan, and the process, particularly of involving the faculty, staff, students. So what is your perspective on that?
Let me, and I think there'll be questions with Julie about COVID, and we'll go into it a little bit more. But if you look around the UT system, the chancellor and the Board of Regents have given the individual institutions some freedom to model how we'll go about dealing with COVID-19 in our own institutions and in our own communities. And I have shared with Britta and Sydney and with Dr. Helfers and the head of our student organization that we are moving forward with the campus openings, but we'll adjust as necessary. We can go into a little bit more details later. But in terms of going back to where we were last year, essentially pretty much 90% online versus in-person classes, there are two things I'm going to be following very closely. There'll be other things that we look at. But one thing I'll be watching is for outbreaks on campus and to what degree those outbreaks are occurring, to what degree they represent a threat to the overall health of the campus, to what degree we can manage those outbreaks when they occur, and to what degree we are challenged in managing those outbreaks as they occur on the campus. So we'll be watching that very, very closely. That's one element. The other element that I want to follow very closely is that UT Tyler does not exist in a vacuum. We exist in a community. And so we have to have a sense of what's going on in the community. Our hospitals are very challenged right now, and how our community is responding to that. So if the elementary schools and high schools and community colleges are opening, if we as a community are keeping our restaurants open, our movie theaters open, our performances open and ongoing, do we shut down what I consider a heart of a community? Do we shut down the university? So, we need to sort of watch what's going on in our community, what we're doing with our schools, our restaurants, our other kinds of activities, so that we are not totally out of step with where our community is going. That's something I believe we need to monitor in terms of making determinations about what we'll do. So that's, I want everyone to know what I'm thinking, and I welcome input. If you're certainly welcome. Give feedback to your deans, give feedback to Dr. Merriman. When you see me walking around the campus, give feedback to me. If you think we're missing something here, but those are the two principal things we'll be watching very carefully. The other part of your question was about the strategic planning process. We are beginning that. My approach is, I know Dr. Tidwell had a number of town halls and that sort of thing to address it. I would like to begin to move forward in a little bit of a different manner. I really want to utilize our faculty senate, our staff senate, and our student groups to survey one another, to bring questions, to bring ideas, bring them forward to us, present it to the cabinet, and sort of garner all those different ideas, my own ideas. I have a lot, but I've put my own ideas in it. And let's come up with sort of a draft document. And this is called negotiation from text. But I found out it goes a little quicker when you do this. Let's garner input from the campus. We're already garnering input. We sent a letter out to our development board members. We're garnering input from the community. When we garner this input, let's throw together a draft document and then put the document out there, and let's start negotiating from something as opposed to 50,000 ideas floating up and the president picks a few. So that's the process that I would like to follow. Let's garner as much input as possible. Let's get a draft out there. Please give me your feedback on the draft, and we should utilize that kind of process to come up with a strategic plan. We are getting some outside help on helping us be sure we're structuring the administration properly and those sorts of things, and that input will be welcome. But I'm being long-winded here, but that's my nature. But that's where we want to go with the strategic plan.
Very good. The last question on my list is about the branding of the university, Unified University. So our colleagues would like to know about what is the timeline, what is the process, and again, how they would provide input into that process.
Sure. Chairman Eltife, several months ago, said he wanted to see an effort to unify the UT presence and the UT brand in this community. And that extends to our health system, which UT Tyler is a part owner of that health system, which is UT Health East Texas, which is 10 hospitals all over the region and numerous clinics and so forth that now are ours. And how can we present the UT image across this entire community? And we're getting some advice from a marketing agency. Once we have that advice, we'll begin to vet across the campus the direction we want to go in. But we are a unified institution. SACS requires that, SACS CLC. But we have 3 different elements. Will our logo change? I'm betting that it'll be modified in some way to help reflect this transformation that's occurred on campus. Will we start marketing and promoting UT once we have these issues worked out more than we are right now? That is also a certainty. So yes, that process is ongoing, and we will be seeking additional input from the campus community.
Very good. Thank you. Dr. Phillips?
Okay, great. Thanks, everyone. And so glad to be here with you today. You know, 8 months ago, we were just getting started, and now I look in the audience and just see a lot of friends. It's really, really nice to be here. As you know, we have a partnership with UT Health East Texas. Dr. Calhoun mentioned it. We're part of a 10-hospital system. One of those is our downtown flagship hospital, a level 1 trauma center. Another is on the North Campus, our historic health science center. And then we have many others: Carthage, Pittsburgh, Quitman, Henderson, Athens, and others. So Dr. Calhoun, can you just explain, how does UT Health East Texas fit together with the global university?
Yes, it actually goes back to the health science center's desire to be a much more influential health science center, to have a future that would be consistent with some of the larger institutions, health institutions in the UT system, UTMB, Southwestern Health Science Center, Houston. And ever since I came here, I realized that our small 100-bed hospital out at 155 and 271 would not be sufficient to be a comprehensive health science center and bring all the research, all the patient care, all the educational opportunities, a medical school and other educational opportunities. That capacity required a major tertiary medical center. And the other campuses had that, and we did not have that in Tyler. And so when the opportunity came up to acquire what was the East Texas Medical Center, ETMC, I didn't have the money, but we could find a partner. And we identified a partner in Ardent Health Services, and together we went forward and acquired that health system. And I think in their wisdom, the Regent said, well, that should not just benefit the Health Science Center in Tyler, that ought to benefit UT Tyler too. And so let's bring the 2 of them together so that that health system could benefit both of us. And believe me, if we had not created a major health system to support the training of physicians, there would have been no discussion of a medical school. So the fact that that health system now has a commitment to support education, that's written into our agreement with Ardent, it now presents us with an opportunity to expand those kinds of health initiatives. And if we expand the health initiatives, I want you to think about this. You know, I'm a nephrologist by training. For many years, I took care of patients with end-stage kidney disease, and I put them on dialysis machines. Well, that's a machine, and the machines are engineering, right? So in healthcare, there are so many ways to reach out to other elements of this campus. In healthcare, in radiology and radiation therapy, and in other mechanics, working with our engineering school. Healthcare is a business. Tons of opportunities to work with our business school with respect to healthcare. And, you know, I've worked in hospitals that have music therapy for patients. So there's even opportunity in our arts and our sciences and in our education school to reach out and work together and collaboratively and get grants and write papers and do interesting things now that the health piece is together with the academic piece. So UT Health East Texas is now allowing us to do all these things and is of great benefit, not just to the Health Science Center, but to this campus in general.
I think that's so helpful to understand. And I think it's also helpful to understand how we should identify ourselves on the health side. Do we call ourselves a health science center? Who are we? What are we? And I think it's safe to say formally that we are the health science center at UT Tyler.
Correct. Correct.
So another hot topic with the School of Community and Rural Health and the anticipation of the medical school. One of the questions we get asked a lot is, will academic health related units remain in their current colleges and schools? So if it's okay, I'll start with this.
Why don't you
I'll
answer
take
that one,
this
Julie?
I know the answer. No, I think, listen, we're so excited about the medical school. We plan to have our inaugural class in 2023, and many of our applications have been submitted and the dates have been set for the accrediting bodies to come and visit with us. The medical school, we're excited about it, but we have many health professions within our health-related departments. And one of those is our College of Nursing and H&K. What we plan to do with the blessing of Dr. Calhoun, with all parties involved, and we're so excited about this, is to have a standalone School of Nursing and to place H&K temporarily under the School of Rural and Community Health. And I think this will allow us to take a little bit of time to see what we want health professions to look like for our region and also to explore other opportunities. So we couldn't be more proud of our nursing school and of this plan to further things, and more information to come in just the upcoming several weeks to make other announcements related to that. Dr. Calhoun, speaking of the medical school, is there any other information you can share with us? Location.
Yes.
And no.
We have started some early planning for, quote, a medical school building. That'll actually be more than a medical school building because, for instance, there'll be simulation labs and that sort of thing in that building. And that simulation labs are great for interprofessional education, right? So we have been emphasizing in our hospitals now for many years that it's a healthcare team. And if you actually look around the country, we're training more and more of our healthcare professionals in these integrated fashions. And so if you have a simulation lab where the mannequin has a baby, and they have that stuff now, you need to have the doctors, you need to have the nurses, you need to have the other healthcare professionals. They are working together. That's what happens in the hospital. Well, that's what needs to happen in our simulation labs. And so for when our healthcare professionals, regardless of whether it's medicine or whatever, are working in the medical center, in general, we want to make sure that there are spaces in the new facility that accommodates everybody who's working down there and enhancing that educational experience, while at the same time making sure that we have all the facilities and everything necessary here on campus for its success. I'm hoping that there'll be some announcements about that building very soon. I think you can understand that we are in the process of acquiring real estate, and you don't talk about it when you're trying to buy it. So I won't reveal anything beyond the fact that there is a commitment for UT Tyler to have a presence in the medical center, the Tyler Medical Center. And we're very, very close, and let's keep our fingers crossed.
Thank you so much. And, I'm going to go off script a little bit too. I think we have to address COVID today, and we are in agreement about that. I wish that we were in a different place right now than where we are. But just to give you a very brief update, in our region, we are at capacity for the number of patients that we can take care of. Today, or yesterday rather, we had nearly 240 across UT Health East Texas in our system. And at the height in the winter months, we had a number of 212. Staffing is short. People are very sick. We're encouraging everyone, of course, to get a vaccine and to wear a mask. And so today, Dr. Calhoun, would you please comment on your stance on the masking?
Sure. I did ask that we share, that we start a campaign that says that we have an expectation that in indoor settings on our campus, people wear a mask. Now that is occurring in a setting where we are a state institution. We actually fall under the executive branch of the state government. If you trace things all the way up, I actually report to the governor of the state. And he issued an executive order saying that we could not mandate mask or deny an opportunity or a service solely based on whether somebody was wearing a mask or not. And when he spoke about that executive order, he actually used the words, part of the reason I feel comfortable making this order is that I have an expectation that Texans will do the right thing. We'll see how that moves forward. So he actually used the word expectation, and we're using that word expectation. I was telling Julie and Amir this morning as I was driving in, I was thinking about this. And I was thinking about growing up as a little boy on the south side of Chicago. And if I had a cold or a runny nose, or if I sneezed, or if I coughed, or if I got too much into somebody's face, my mother, who had a high school education, would say, cover your mouth and nose. We grew up being told to do that. I see people do that all the time. Cover your mouth and nose. And here we are in the midst of a viral epidemic, pandemic, whatever phrase you want to use. If we want to treat our neighbors with respect when there's an infection going around and we haven't figured out all the medications for it yet and so forth, and we want to take precautions and we want to show each other the respect we should be showing each other, then it's 2021. I don't have to use my hand. I can actually use a mask and cover my nose and my mouth. It is not a political statement. It's what your mother told you to do. And, you know, if you're feel a little out of place because you're not providing that degree of courtesy to your neighbors, then maybe you should feel out of place. So we will not kick anybody out of a classroom. We will not deny service to anyone, but we're asking and we have an expectation that people wear a mask. I would like to urge everybody to get a vaccine. People tell me, well, it's experimental. This is where people like Julie and I and professionals understand the difference. When you say something's under an emergency use authorization, you are not saying it is experimental. To get an EUA, you have to do the experiment and prove the data. So they've done the experiments on it. The EUA is a way to get around some of the bureaucratic stuff that you would normally go through in getting some of these things authorized, but the vaccine is not experimental anymore. We've given the vaccine to millions of people. The experiment has been done. You know, as my daughter said, I took the shot. I did not turn into a woolly mammoth. My My genes didn't change. It does not make women infertile. It doesn't, do that. A few people have an allergic reaction to it. A few people have an allergic reaction to every medication we have. I have an allergy to avocados. Okay, I have to deal with that. All right, but it doesn't mean that the vaccine is bad, dangerous. We shouldn't take it. When I can, I'm going to get my third booster because I've seen young people, old people. My mother passed away from COVID. She was in a nursing home, she caught it, and she died as a result. So I take this all very, very seriously. I want people to get vaccinated. I want us to wear a mask. I want us to get through this. And I want us to continue to provide our students with a college experience. I don't want to shut down the campus. You only get to do college, well, most people do it about 4 years. I've had a few relatives that have taken 8 or 9 to get that baccalaureate degree, but they got it. But the college experience is a limited thing. And last year, our students lost a year of that college experience, that whole valuable experience. And I want us to keep the campus safe enough so we can give our students that kind of valuable experience, because I believe it will serve them better later in life.
Thank you, Dr. Calhoun. And as a practicing pulmonary and critical care physician, I do want to let you know that we do feel that the vaccine works. So if you've gotten your vaccine and you're wearing a mask, I feel confident that you're going to be okay. And our healthcare community will be there to take care of people no matter what, and we will remain compassionate throughout this entire event. One of the questions we get asked a lot is about travel for faculty. And so if you'd care to comment on that, Dr. Calhoun.
Well, this is where you think about things and you find your thinking and evolution. Last year, as COVID broke out around the country, we placed travel restrictions on business travel on the university's behalf. This also meant faculty going to conferences and meetings and that kind of thing. And we restricted it. And when the Delta variant came along and we had this most recent flare, I'll be honest with you, my initial impulse was to let's hurry up and reimpose those restrictions because now the pandemic is back. Julie and Amir have gotten some feedback from faculty and others about that decision, and it's very mixed feedback. And we do try to listen, and we've sort of been discussing it, and we're going to reevaluate all that. There's one huge difference this time around. Last time around, if you remember what happened last year, and people have short memories, but COVID broke out and it was very severe in communities like New York and other areas around the country, in California. Remember those terrible outbreaks in Southern California and so forth. And we were afraid that by traveling, we would bring more COVID into the state of Texas, that we would bring more COVID into our communities. That was the situation then. And probably because of the low vaccination rate in Texas, it is actually reversed. Talking to colleagues up in New Jersey, we have 200 in just our hospital, over 200 in just our hospital here in Tyler. Talking to an executive of a health system in New Jersey, they have 13 patients, but they have a much higher immunization, a much higher vaccination rate in the New Jersey area than we have here. They just had 13 patients in their hospital and they had far less a concern. We're now the hot spot. If anybody should be restricting, they ought to be restricting us coming to them, as opposed to us restricting where you're going. I'm being simplistic here, but what I'm saying is we want to take a little time, continue to get input, continue to examine to what degree should we be limiting business travel, and in limiting that travel, do we actually make the campus safe? And I don't know that for sure yet. Julie and her team, they're the experts in COVID. We have a school we have a School of Community and Rural Health, but a public health program with public health experts. Let's talk to those experts. Let's look at the science and determine if there is a scientific rationale for us restricting travel.
Thank you, Dr. Calhoun. We do want to do the right thing, and we do want to advocate for faculty and what's important. And we know we do need to continue, and our academic mission and our work and our research needs to continue. So we want to do what's reasonable. So we will put out a communication about what we're planning to do or not do. So I think that wraps up the questions and the time that we have for them. So thank you so much, Dr. Calhoun, for your great responses.
And let me say thank you to the entire faculty and staff and our students. Sometimes I hear that for those who are our coworkers, you all are my coworkers, that they wish they would hear the leadership say thank you for what they do a little bit more. So I always try to say it as many times as possible. I wish I could say it more with money and things like that, but we have to live within what our resources are. But certainly know that in terms of my desire and my emotion, I want to say thank you for all that you do. And this has been part of my stump speech since becoming president here. But I keep reminding people that teaching is the profession that makes all other professions possible. So what you do here in higher education and teaching the next generation and teaching our community in general is something that is absolutely key to having a free and successful society. So thank all of you for what you do every day. Oh, do I have anything to say to conclude? Let me see. Other than bye. Uh-oh. Boy, we covered a lot. Oh. Thank you for your attendance this morning in person and virtually. Classes begin on Monday, and I cannot stress enough the need for everyone to get vaccinated. The number of positive COVID cases continue to rise, and we must use every defense available to us. We are expecting everyone, regardless of your vaccination status, to wear masks inside our facilities, especially those who are immunocompromised, and we will certainly willing to make accommodations under those kinds of circumstances. And with that, this concludes our convocation. Have a great day and a great year. Thank you again.